All right, guys. With that down, let's talk about this. Jeff, there were a number of games that were missing from the Xbox Game Showcase specifically.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about this because when you don't have
Halo.
bro, when you don't have some of these major titles, okay, so
I was genuinely surprised because I was kind of hoping there'd be Halo, because Halo hasn't had seen so much love in like 7 years with Halo Infinite,
yeah.
and I was kind of hoping like, oh, maybe a new Halo or like something like Halo Wars or another like Halo IP in general would be nice, but no, they showed Black Ops 7.
Right.
The idiots.
The first one that was missing from this from the Xbox Game Showcase, State of Decay 3.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about this like after the showcase ended and stuff. That it could just be that they didn't have anything new to show. It could be that
They didn't want to show anything.
they didn't want to show anything, or there's some issues happening behind the scenes that we don't know about
Yeah.
that's causing some delays.
Honestly, that's something I've been noticing recently too with a lot of game companies, that they've been distinctively withholding when games are coming out because they don't want people to leak them
Mhm.
and just kind of ruin the fun for people.
Do you think that this is an Undead Labs issue, or do you think it's an Xbox issue? Because we're seeing not only State of Decay,
Yeah.
we're seeing Fable, we're
Yeah.
seeing Perfect Dark, we're seeing. I mean, you know, this isn't just one game.
Yeah, if it was
We're-
one game,
I mean,
it'd be-
Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, bro, like
it
we're-
could be just like a marketing problem. It's just people are focusing on solely what makes a lot of money instead of using the IPs that they own, which is dumb. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't just put all your eggs in one basket because then people are going to get pissed.
Mhm.
I think it is like just a higher up problem.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually think it might be.
Yeah, I think I think you might be right. You know, their Xbox is focused on the massive heavy hitters
Yes.
of Call
'Cause
of
it-
Duty, of, you know, their biggest IPs that they possess, and some of these other games that are still big. I mean, you know, State of Decay has a solid fan base.
it does.
Gears of War is massive.
Yeah,
you know,
Gears is like one of
within
the
Xbox.
staples.
I mean, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I agree. I think that there is something systemic going on with Xbox where some of these other games are kind of getting almost forgotten about, or I don't know if it's resource, if it's something to do with the development cycles of them. We were talking though at the showcase that we were more concerned about Fable.
Yeah. Because at least
I-
with State of Decay, like that has like a recent fan base.
You mean a recent trailer, like back? Well, it was back.
Well, not even a recent trailer. Like they
2024.
have a recent game. Like when was the last Fable?
If it was like 2013 or something.
Yeah, like it was 360 era.
Yeah.
So
State of Decay 2 came out 2018.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it has like a recent game, and not to mention still a recent following. Don't get me wrong, Fable's good. It's a good game, but it just hasn't had anything recently to
Right.
make it to like. So who knows what they're doing with Fable? I got a feeling if they ever do decide to make a new Fable, they'll most likely do it after like, I don't know, when they decide, oh, let's make a Fable remake, put it on the new gen consoles with like newer graphics and stuff, and then they'll probably make a new one once they probably see like, oh, people actually want to play this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's a little bit concerning. And we talked about how like State of Decay 3, like what would get you, Jeff, to be like, okay, they Xbox might be scrapping this project? Like, do you think it's a couple of years away from that? Because obviously we got that, you know, we got the second trailer back in 2024 at that Xbox Game Showcase. But when do you start wondering, like, okay, is this going to be like a canceled project?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's canceled.
I don't either.
I
no.
don't think it's canceled. It has a too big of a fan base, and people still play State of Decay 2. So I don't think it's canceled. I think they're either saving it for the Game Awards, because you know they release stuff on the Game Awards.
Mhm.
They announce stuff at the Game Awards.
Or at the fall showcase if
Yeah,
they do one.
yeah, that's also the fall showcase is another option.
Yeah, if they
So-
do that, yeah.
Yeah, I think this Xbox presents. I told you this after the recording. or after the live stream, is that it felt like they were mainly focusing on sharing new IPs and new companies and adding in some sequels to games that people kind of wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Grounded 2, it's gonna be fun. I forget the other game that's getting another sequel, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Is like it was more focused on new stuff and not old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling that we might hear something, just a gut feeling. It could be wrong, but just a gut feeling saying they might have something for fall.
Yeah.
Spooky season.
The other things that weren't talked about was, I don't know if you saw anything on Contraband, but there was a game called Contraband, Everwild. We have not heard anything about like the future of those. And Everwild is developed by Rare, the guys who do Sea of Thieves and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, where they are with that. I'm not sure where they are with Contraband. Because Contraband got announced from the Just Cause studio, the ones that do Just Cause Avalanche.
Yeah.
But they announced that back in 2021. And it's like, bro, where is that? And so obviously Fable.
I think Fable's done. I'll be honest. I think
you think it's canceled?
I don't think it's. I think it's canceled until something happens.
Like
something
what?
like a remake or a remaster or something.
I just don't know if it's canceled because Phil Spencer said we're bringing you guys great games like Gears of War, E-Day, Fable. They didn't mention State of Decay 3. That's where I was like, wait a second. They didn't mention State of Decay, but he mentioned Fable. So, yeah, I don't know. I think they're probably still working on it, but I actually, you want to know what I think it might be, dude? Is, you know how the Coalition is helping, they're doing their own thing, but they're also helping out Undead Labs, and so is Obsidian. They're helping out as
Obsidian's
well.
Been cooking.
What I think might be happening is they're understaffed or something.
Probably
at Undead Labs, like, and so you have the Coalition. They're like, okay, yeah, you guys can have a couple of our people like today to work on some shit, bro. They're just like cycling people, and Undead Labs is like they're understaffed. They don't have enough people or whatever. Like,
Remaro posted the Reddit post. It says that it says that we didn't have enough to make something for the trailer, but they're still mainly focusing on making the game itself instead of making trailers for it. So that's good. That's at least hard, or it's hardcore evidence saying, hey, we're still working on this. So State of Decay 3 is happening. We just don't know when.
Yeah, when it's coming out. I mean, and they pushed it from 2025 to 2026. I'm starting to get concerned about a release date in 2026 just because
that's going to be a rough launch. You got
what in 2026?
Yeah, if they release it at 2026, you got a juggernaut to fight.
Well, it depends on when, right? Like when they release it. I mean, if they you want to be nowhere near May.
You want to avoid the month of May. You want to avoid maybe depending on
what comes out in
it's May 26th, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to avoid pretty much. You could do it before May, just like a little, because it's like at the end of the month for May. So you can either do early May or late June, because you want to try to aim it for, because there's gonna be people who just dive straight into GTA 6 and just do nothing but play it for a week. And then they're going to be on the waiting list for when GTA 6 Online comes out. So you want to kind of, if you want to, you could release a game during that window, because they said they're going to release it online within 3 months.
You know what, dude? And I was thinking about this because you know how we were talking, like, you don't want to be too close to GTA because it's going to be just a wave. There is something to be said for, I'm going to make a movie comparison. When the movie Oppenheimer came out and Barbie was out at the same time,
dude,
there were people... There were the Barbenheimer. Like what I'm saying, bro, is two totally different movies, and people were going from one movie to the other because they heard that they were good. Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is, the chances of something like State of Decay going up against GTA is crazy to me. But what I'm saying is not for State of Decay specifically, but for other like indie games and stuff. They might, because people are spending money to get GTA 6. They may also see other games. It's like, you know what? I'm spending money on this. This game looks really good too. I'm gonna buy that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it gives you that.
When you brought up Oppenheimer and Barbie, it reminded me of Doom Eternal and what was the game? Animal Crossing New Leaf. They both came out at the
Oh
exact
my
same time.
God,
The
bro.
memes. Okay, let me say something about these memes. They are so funny, and I love it. And both the owners of their, I think it was like either Facebook or Instagram, the guys who own or run the Bethesda account and the Animal Crossing account, they just kind of rom-commed that Doomslayer's married to Isabel, and it was so goddamn funny.
Oh my God,
And it
bro.
became like this joke, and it became like pseudo canon.
Well, and look, it kind of reminds me of like when Call of Duty Infinite Warfare came out. You had Titanfall 2 and Battlefield all at the same. That was
You
Battlefield
had
1.
three juggernauts,
Three
of
juggernauts,
shooters,
and you
man.
had two of them did really well. One of them absolutely got completely annihilated.
Battlefield.
No, it was Titanfall.
Really?
Titanfall got crushed. It got cooked, dude.
I don't think so. I think
It did. That's why we haven't had another Titanfall.
We haven't had another Titanfall because EA is they're assholes.
Well, they came out with Apex, but
Yeah, but then they put
we'll
ads
see.
in Apex.
Oh, dude, I know. But what I'll tell you though is I would not want to test State of Decay 3 coming out with GTA.
No, you don't want to touch that.
Don't touch it.
Don't
Like
do it. it.
it's gonna get completely
You're
annihilated.
gonna get smushed.
But State of Decay 3 in the fall, depending on when you release it, I don't know, dude. Like the release schedule is getting
Yeah,
tight.
you gotta be careful.
Because think about it like this, dude. We haven't heard anything about Fable, nothing about Perfect Dark either. We haven't heard anything about Everwild, Contraband, a new Forza, a new Halo. And so what I'm saying is the fall could get very, very packed with
Yes.
not just Xbox games, but also PlayStation stuff. And
Yeah.
and we're not even talking about The Witcher 4. We're not.
That would be an absolute juggernaut of a year if The Witcher 4 comes out on 2026.
Oh my God, bro.
That would be a
that would
year
give that would
for
give
fights.
huge fights, dude.
That
I
would be
mean,
the fight of the century for game of the year, because you know GTA is gonna win like a lot of the awards that are gonna come out. But if The Witcher 4 comes out in the same year,
well, in State of Decay 3 though, like do you think there's going to be I'm sure there's going to be other like zombie survival
Yes.
titles, but and I just wonder like maybe State of Decay 3 next year won't have a lot of competition in their specific genre, or maybe they
No.
will.
no. 'Cause
I just we talk about Resident Evil Requiem, but totally different,
Yeah.
right? We talk about totally different.
Yeah.
We talk about Dying Light comes out in a couple of months,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's zombies, but it's just different.
It's different than
different.
what State of Decay is. State of Decay is more of just like a
State of Decay is kind of creating its
a-
own
it's a
little
settlement
niche.
simulator.
Yeah, it's creating its own niche
Yeah.
almost
That
within
was,
gaming.
I think, what kept State of Decay live for so long, is that it was so different from other zombie titles. Because it wasn't a linear story like the Walking Dead games
Mhm.
or like The Last of Us. It was more focused on a community
Mhm.
than just a singular story. And you had to upgrade that community with resources that you get from actually exploring the town.
Right.
And there's so many like narratives you can run. There's so many different situations you can do. You can RP it if you want to. The multiplayer is fun. They got a little goofy with the DLCs, which was fine. You get a firework rocket launcher. It was so much fun to shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that State of Decay 3, even though like there might not be a really great time next year to release outside of like the beginning of the year, because I just feel like the beginning of the year, outside of Resident Evil Requiem, bro, like at least right now, what else is really coming? If they released in
Yeah.
March or early January, I don't know. But the other thing that we haven't really heard much about, and Phil Spencer said that we're going to be hearing about it in 2026, is a new Halo.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, because I thought, bro, it was hilarious because Halo Infinite, they were like, this is the infinite Halo. Like, they're going to just be servicing this shit for forever. And, bro,
Oh,
already
man.
we're getting another Halo. And I'm not, dude,
I'm not mad.
I love Halo. Halo has always been a classic. I mean, it was my very.
I mean, it sparked so much like
Oh, dude.
individuality.
Yeah, dude.
Not to mention, like, it sparked an entire animated series, which, like, for the entire most part of the early seasons of this show was done in game, which was really interesting to see. And it was a nice evolution throughout, like, the different, because, like, anytime, like, something, like, weird happened in the show, they chalked it up of just switching to the next game, which was cool. It was nice to see the characters, like, get a little bit more detail as the games evolve over on, and the fact that they kept on changing the game instead of keeping in the old art style of Halo 1
Yeah.
or Halo 2, whatever which one it was that the show started. Have you ever seen it? It's called Red versus
Yep.
Blue.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the first Dawn or whatever it was called.
No, I'm talking
Halo. What was that one called? Until Dawn, or
Yeah.
not Until Dawn.
Yeah. That's a different game.
Oh shit, bro.
But
We're
yeah.
warped right now.
But yeah, I always enjoyed like the comedy and like the very unique story that Red versus Blue had.
Yeah. Halo's interesting.
Yes.
I'm definitely, obviously, I think that's something for anybody who's a Halo fan. They can, wait till 2026.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Forza fan.
No.
Never been a Forza fan, so I don't really.
I'm not a big car guy, so
Yeah,
it's
I don't
fine.
really care about. I mean, I love cars, but I don't like.
I love my car. I'm just gonna say that. I love my car.
Yeah, I love my car, but I don't like racing games. I mean, not saying like outside of Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's the only one that really has my attention.
Yeah.
It's just Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, it's goofy, and it's fun to do. That's why I'm kind of excited for the Sonic one that's coming out. The Sonic Racing
Oh,
game.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna like that.
That's
Especially like
yeah.
with the collabs that they're doing.
Yeah.
Hatsune Miku.
And the last one that we haven't heard anything from since 2024 is Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark got announced in 2020. And Crystal Dynamics is co-developing it with the initiative. The first trailer or the first gameplay trailer came out in 2024, but we haven't heard anything since. So once again, Perfect Dark is kind of like State of Decay somewhat to me, because State of Decay, we got another trailer at the Xbox Game Showcase in 2024. E-Day got its announcement in 2024, and Perfect Dark got its first gameplay trailer in 2024. So you really could say, Jeff, that those games we shouldn't be completely concerned about yet.
No.
Fable, however.
Fable's in a rough spot.
Dude. Fable is where we're probably getting closer and closer to a panic button being hit there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, is there a pulse here? It's just been radio silence. But out of all of those, I mean, I think you and I, like, State of Decay is definitely the game that we're like, dude, I can't wait to play State of Decay 3. I can't wait to play Gears.
I can't play
E-Day.
Dying Light.
And Dying Light, bro. Dying Light's gonna be outstanding, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, August, we're gonna be busy.
Oh, yeah, we're
Because
gonna be
Dying
busy.
Light the Beast, and then like, what is it? 4 days later, Gears of War Reloaded comes out. But we're gonna be able to play Gears of War Reloaded tomorrow.
Yeah. It's gonna be on Game Pass.
On Game Pass, yeah, it's gonna be, dude. I'm excited about that. But
yeah, I'm curious to upgrade, because now that I've seen like the original game, I'm curious about like what the upgrade's gonna be.
Yeah, I agree, dude.
Yeah.
But the question is for you guys: what did you guys think about like the Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Game Showcase, and the stuff that we haven't heard from or didn't get announced or get updates on at the showcase or at the Summer Game Fest? What are your guys' thoughts about the current state of Decay 3? Even other games like Fable and Gears of War E-Day and stuff. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts.